Friday, March 17th, 2023 at 2:32 p.m. Eastern Time, USA, 14:32 Eastern Time, USA. This is my video journal. I'm Mitch Miller. Today is St. Patrick's Day. This episode brought to you by Guinness. I have my Guinness. And I have my Jameson Irish whiskey. Drinking my Jameson Irish whiskey neat. Usually I have ice and water, but we're doing it neat today. I like it. Like my Irish whiskey like I like my government. Neat. Neat and clean, right? Drinking my Guinness out of the can. I come from a working class background, son of a janitor, and let's face it, women do more dishes globally than men, so that's one less glass a woman has to wash, right? So next time you see somebody drinking out of a can, don't look at them as though they're lowbrow. Look at them as they're saving a woman the chore of doing dishes. Or that's one way to look at it, I guess. So here's the St. Patty's Day. Okay. Last segment of the day. So I'm seeing a thing on Euronews, couple topics on Euronews. One is the film festival in Geneva, Switzerland, and there's a few films about bodies being buried in Kosovo and mass graves and stuff like that. Now you may say these regimes get away with it by saying that those are second class or citizens or not citizens. But if you have a system where everyone is guaranteed right to trial by jury, right? If the most free country in the world police, so the people, the shining beacon for all countries to model themselves after, and it should be because the founding fathers actually did write that into the Constitution 3 times. Freedom of speech is in there once, freedom of religion is in there once, right to bear arms is in there once, right to trial by jury is in the Constitution 3 times. If you have right to trial by jury in the United States on every offense, every minor infraction, everything, I think you would reduce the amount of mass graves you have around the world. Other countries would fight for these rights, and the criminal justice system would not be used for racist purposes, for evil purposes. It would actually be about criminal justice. Anyhow, what I want the military to think about, the United States military and any military, think about how many disqualified recruits you have out there that got an underage drinking, that got a misdemeanor marijuana charge, disqualifies them from having military service, and these are mainly poor working class people. They might have a radio or wireless sensitivity, so in high school and adolescence they're starting to treat themselves. They know something's not right up here. They know they can't sleep. They know they have racing thoughts. And they're treating themselves with marijuana and alcohol, right? And you bust them for that because they did something stupid like got in a car or whatever. Not driving necessarily, it's just the way that the system works. And you busted them for that, and now these wirelessly sensitive people who might be in tune with supercomputers and things like that could take the military to higher levels as far as leadership are disqualified. They're disqualified from service. Millions, tens of thousands per year are disqualified. So I want you to consider that when you're thinking about waivers for underage drinking, for misdemeanor marijuana, and things like that. So think of the disqualified recruits the next time the GOP says it's because the military is too woke, right? The other thing I want to talk about, this came on the Euronews yesterday, so I thought it was a good time to break this out. I'm seeing that it's planting season in Ukraine. Farmers are driving their tractors through the fields and churning up bombs and missiles and unspent ordnance in Ukraine. They're having a hard time planting their fields, and they're a huge grain producer for the world. So that's why I wanted to come out with my idea for robots that I had a long time ago. This was going to be in my Donald Trump book, the Trump vetting book, that I probably won't have time to write. So I'll bring it out now. And this is to all the Irish farmers out there and farmers everywhere. So what my thought process was, I thought of this a long time ago when they were talking about demining places in the Philippines and stuff like that. Farms, it's a plan to collect methane and manure for farms, right? The robots, they might be like spider leg robots with a sensor array on them. And you stake out the four corners of your pasture field with the cows in it, and they map out and cover the whole field. And they have four scoops that lower down. They spider out, the scoops come down out of them, and they have a sensor array that maybe sticks out that would make it good for looking for mines and ordnance in fields. They walk, they sense cow manure, a pile of cow poop, they center over top of it, they dig in underneath it with their scoopers, they collect it up, they take it back to a central collection point by the barn, they deposit the manure there, so they're collecting the manure so that the farmer can then sell that for fertilizer. And there's also a methane extraction unit, a hood above this pile of manure that separates out the methane. The methane is then burned in a small internal combustion motor generator that charges the robots. It's a self-contained system. The robots are charged up electrically, and they can go out and cover the whole field again. So I'm calling them poop mining robots. You have the prototypes, farmers start using them, and we develop the chassis and the legs and the things we need to build, and you lower the cost of these robots so that we can deploy them to pick up underground mines, underground ordnance, and maybe they just walk out and there's a thing that sticks out. They pick it and they freeze right there when they find a mine, and a light lights up, shines in the sky or whatever, and then the person who collects the mine, who defuses the bombs, can follow the exact path of that spider robot thing out to the robot. Then they can dig down and take care of the mine, the ordnance. Or we develop it to where it can actually dig down and get the mine, retrieve it, and take it back to a central location. The point is that we lower the cost by deploying it at farms. You could be open and upfront about farmers. Look, if we can sell enough of these things, we'll lower the cost of producing them, and we'll be able to give them to war-torn countries to get ordnance and mines out of battlefields and things like that. So I think it should be developed and standardized by the United States military. That's my robot idea. It was going to factor into the Trump book, but why not get it out in the open now? So I do believe in robots. I just think we should use them for the best possible ways, and I think that's why supercomputers continue to help me through the media and things like that, produce these things, and continue to collaborate with me so that we have a human supercomputer technology collaboration. Speaking of poop, the last thing I'm going to talk about, we're focusing on Ken's farm, Kenneth Bryan's farm, Republican for county commissioner. We got the fund for solar panels. We're going to have model houses on the farm. But we could also, there's lots of potential here. We're along the creek. We can develop we have microgrids for the electric, a micro water treatment plant, a standardized, patented micro water treatment plant where people with their RVs can dump their waste in the water treatment plant. It cleans it. It's tested, it's EPA approved, the water can be released into the ground or into a leach bed or whatever before you don't dump it directly into the creek. I realize that. But this could be used in small communities all over the country. So that's why I'm focused on Ken's farm. I think there's a lot of potential there. I proposed my nonprofits I can develop from there. And if you go to FrenchCreekFarms.com, that's the website for the campground. Now I'm going to do a podcast and advertise it, but that means more work for me to see to the campground, and I'm volunteering my time. What I would want is for the people that have access to these videos to go to FrenchCreekFarms.com and book a site. Book the house, book the cabin. Not necessarily go there, but let's book it all up. And we can convene and we can talk about and develop these strategies in Utica, Pennsylvania. So that's what I'm hoping you'll do. Happy St. Patty's Day. Book yourself a site. I have one rental tent and one rental cot and air mattress that you can fly in from Seattle or wherever and camp for a weekend. You can make a note when you make a reservation. In the notes, write, I want to talk to you about sustainable strategies. Or I want to talk to Mitch about anti-corruption policies, right? Or I just want to make sure Mitch is there. I want to just meet him in person. However that works, make a note, book the sites, let's book it up, let's have a good summer, we're going to have a lot of fun. Ken always says we're going to have a lot of fun, let's have a lot of fun and put out a good message. I agree with him, and yeah, so talk to me if you want to change the world into a better place. Thanks for watching. Join me next week when I'm sure I'll come up with something else to talk about. That's why I did 3 today while they were on my mind. Thanks for watching. Happy St. Patrick's Day.